It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. I welcome the podcast where me, the Captain, talks about movies, TV, sports, flicks, anything you can see on the tuber screen. I like to get on here and give my unique perspective, because after 47 years of being on planet Earth, I've developed a unique perspective about these movies, TV, sports, and flicks, and I like to get on and tell about it. Because just maybe you care. And according to the stats, it looks like you do care. I want to give a big shout out to Orlando, Florida. Got some plays over in Orlando this past week. Gracias, gratitude, Torba, in Orlando. I've always wanted to fly down there and just hang out. Your city seems absolutely magnificent. So one of these days, I'm gonna have to get on a plane. I'm gonna have to fly down to Orlando, and maybe when I decide to go there, they'll have that Shack restaurant. Was that Big Chicken? Yeah, I heard you guys building a Big Chicken down there. Maybe by the time I get down there, Big Chicken will be open, and I can have some of that Shack food. Be so awesome. So anyways, thanks for listening. Gracias, gratitude. And just FYI, back in the day, was School to Be Radio DJ, but never got a job. I think I never got a job because I just didn't have the willpower. If I would have had the willpower, then maybe I would have became a radio DJ. But I didn't. And that allowed me to become the greatest podcaster in the Matrix. Something to debate, might be true, might not be true. But I said it on the internet. So it's gotta be true, right? Because everything on the internet is facts, not facts, true, false propaganda, fake news, the Matrix. Cheeseburgers, hamburgers, fried chicken, green beans, mashed potatoes, black-eyed peas, chickpeas. I don't know. I didn't make the internet. Ask the people that made the internet. So when you're lying, just be aware, just watch out. Anyways, I could ramble all day, but I won't. Let's get right into the podcast. But first, a word from our sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, it is mid-March. Right now, it's mid-March. And where I'm at, it's a little cold, a little cool, a little bit of snow, a little bit of wind. But you know what? Guess what's coming? The heat is coming. The heat is coming. Sunny days, hot days are coming. So get prepared now. And when it's summer, what do you do in the summer? So one of the things you do in the summer is you wear flip-flops. A lot of us do. So do you wear flip-flops? Chunkless flip-flops, sandals? Well, maybe you do. So get ahead of the game. Prepare for that sunny, nice, lovely, hot weather. Let them feet breathe because it is hot. Check the Crazy Wisdom Guru sandals we got over at the Existing Fiction Sales store and let them feet breathe. So check it out. Now, let's get on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back again. And I just got done cleaning the casa. Vacuuming, wiping stuff down, cleaning stuff, cleaning solution, rags, dusting, vacuums, chemicals, water, the wiping, a little bit of elbow grease. Believe it or not, the captain cleans. You might think the captain is a rich man who has like maids and housekeepers and all that. But no, let's be real. Let's keep it real. The captain cleans his own stuff. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I don't have a housekeeper. I don't have a maid. I don't have a butler. You guys overseas might hear me think, yeah, the captain lives in America where the streets are paved with gold, and he probably lives in a mansion, has a butler and a housekeeper, and has a Bentley and a Lamborghini in the driveway. Nah, bro, let's be real. I clean my own stuff. I'm cleaning toilets, bro. I'm not even too good to say that. I'll let you know, bro. I'll put it out there. I'm cleaning toilets. I'm a real dude. This is how I really get down. I'm not ashamed to say I will clean stuff up. It's what I do. A lot of us do that. I tell you guys all the time, I'm just a regular dude. Like, that is truth. So anyways, just got done cleaning. And now it is time to podcast. And this week, we're going down the rabbit hole of wilderness of mirrors. Right? the world's second oldest profession. This week, I got to tell lies that were true again. Yeah, I saw True Lies Rival Companions this week. Another fine episode. Before I get into that, a couple things. First of all, there will be spoilers. And second of all, I do own some shares in the parent company of True Lies. So that I told you that. Now, let's get on with the podcast. This week, the lies were true again. Like, seriously, they were true. This week, the Taskers had to go deep cover. Deep cover, you know, like that Snoop and Dre song? Deep cover, they had to go deep cover. They had to become billionaires. They had to walk in those shoes. They had to switch their mindset. They had to go from being international spies to family man to family woman to billionaires. Swimsuit model and a shipping magnate, right? That's what they had to do. So they had to catch some arms dealer who was dealing with very, very bad arms. They had to go undercover to catch the architect, right? So they had to do that. So yes, another good episode, funny, feel good. I'm digging the show a lot. And what I want to do is just go into one aspect of the show. In the show, you know, the Taskers are spies, right? But they also have a cover identity, right? Harold, he's a computer salesman. And then like the wife, Helen, is like a professor, right? So the interesting thing, and I've heard this before, but the interesting thing is they are spies, right? They do the spy thing. They spy, bro. That's what they do. But also they have to maintain their cover identity. Now, it's not just like they just sit around and pretend to play it. No, they have to live it. They actually have to do the job, right? So like Harry Tasker, like he spies, right? But he's also a computer salesman and he has to do computer salesman stuff, right? So he's doing computer salesman stuff when he's not spying. Like he's really doing the job. You know, for some reason I thought they just wouldn't have to do the job, just pretend. But no, they really do the work. Like seriously. This dude probably just works tons of hours. Like, man, this guy just working all types of work. You know, thinking about that, I was like, this has got to be very stressful, very demanding job, right? I mean, it's like 2 jobs, 2 things you're dealing with. You know, I was thinking, you know, could I do that? Could I work a regular job that I would have to work regularly, do the work, the real work, couldn't fake it. I'd have to work this job and then also do the spy thing. I'm like, bro, that seems like a lot of work. Seems very stressful. There's a lot of identities he's dealing with. Now, I've heard from listening to a lot of podcasts, to reading some books, watch some shows, documentaries, that basically, you know, some of these officers can kind of slip in and out of identities. It's kind of like putting on a jacket, right? Almost like an actor, kind of like an actor. You know, what I've heard is like, it's like an actor, but there's no cut, right? So, you know, when you're acting, there's cuts. Let's take the day off. We're you know, let's go home for the night, come back, do it tomorrow, right? But when you're playing a role and taking on an identity, cover identity, there's no cut. There's no stop. You have to live it, breathe it, eat it. It's like a 24-hour play that you're living. Like the amount of pressure that must have is like, oh my gosh. I think I've talked about it in the podcast a couple times before, I believe. But it's just interesting that seeing that, you know, they're dealing with these problems going on in their house. The Taskers are. They're having problems, household problems they have to juggle, right? And then, you know, then the wife has to go be a professor, right? And then she's got a spy. She's doing all this stuff. There's a lot to deal with. And in the show, they say basically you got to kind of compartmentalize, right? So yeah, whatever role you're being in a moment, you have to be in that role. And you kind of have to shut everything else out. You know, it's kind of like what I'm doing with this podcast. Right now, I'm in the moment of creating this podcast. And there's a lot of things that goes on with me personally. Many things. Many different things I have to deal with. But right now, in this moment, I got to shut everything else off. I got to shut it all down. The fact that I got like no sleep last night, I got to shut that down. In fact, there are other things going on, I got to shut it down. Because right now, it is time to podcast. Right now, it is time to be the captain. Right? I got to turn everything else off. They're like doing this, but like on steroids. You know, sometimes when you got to work, you just got to shut everything else off. I think it's a good lesson from this episode of True Lies. Compartmentalization. I think it's a good tool to have in the toolbox when you try to get stuff done. When you're in the moment doing your training or you're working on something, it's like be in the now, be in the moment, shut everything else down, forget about everything else, put it in that box over there, put it in that box over there, and let's focus on this task and get it done. Right now, I'm the Captain Che Cortez, and I'm handling the business. Everything else don't matter right now, right? I think it's a good tool to have. So, watching this show, I didn't expect to really see any kind of maybe like lessons in it going into it. I didn't really expect that. From Star Trek, obviously I expect that, but didn't really expect to really see them in this show, honestly. But here we go. Lessons are starting to appear. Deep thoughts are starting to appear. They go in there, even though it's kind of a comedy. It was kind of funny. It's kind of a dramedy. They still go in there. It's another interesting take on the spycraft. Like I was saying in the past podcast, like every version of a spy show I've seen, just a new way to put a spin on it. It's cool to see the different takes of the spy game. And it's just another addition, a layer to the enormous tapestry of spy fiction on TV. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta tell true lies. Just don't tell them to me, because I won't believe you. So anyways, thanks for listening. Appreciate it. That's just gratitude. And until next time, we'll see. Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. George Bernard Shaw. Until next time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks Flicks.